As you know, we're about to get new liquor laws aimed at curbing the harm caused by alcohol. But some say it's way short of what's needed to control binge drinking. Albert McKyrie agrees. He believes controlling supply of alcohol is just part of the solution.
Lately, the TV ads have begun targeting our binge drinking culture.
Do you ever worry about your drinking?
And not just drink driving. But Albert McKyrie says it's just the beginning.
Are we happy to keep going the way we are going? Are you guys happy to have your children trashed? Are you happy for them to be vomiting in the streets and lying in the gutters? Is this the best way they can have fun?
Albert McKyrie doesn't want to destroy the alcohol industry, but he does want to destroy the idea that it's okay to be drunk.
It's not a joke anymore. This is a cancer leading to disintegration of the civilization and leading to disappearance of the family as a unit of society.
Jenny Brokenshire can tell you how alcohol can destroy families. In April, her 16-year-old son William was stabbed to death in Oamaru. His assailant had been drinking.
I've got a little one and she doesn't understand. We go to visit the gravesite and she jumps out and she goes, "I'm going to find Will." It's like, we'd all like to.
Jenny has lost a son. So too have the parents of the boy who killed William. He's charged with murder.
People don't sometimes intend to kill somebody, but it happens, accidents happen. And a lot of it is because there's no stopping them. They want to get a few beers in them, they do.
This is not the way we want to go down. This is the wrong way, and the sooner we do a U-turn, the better.
So, but do you think they can't have the good time by having few drinks without being drunk?
No, I agree with you. I'm just...
Dr. Albert says he's seen huge changes in New Zealand society since he and his wife Maha emigrated here in the early 90s. Now their 3 children are training to be doctors, and they've also come face to face with the ugly side of alcohol in the emergency department. And Marae, well, she's lucky to be alive.
This is the door behind which my daughter was sitting when she got almost killed in a car accident a few weeks ago. I'm very grateful because I woke up from this nightmare. Other people do not wake up from this nightmare and they lose their children forever.
Albert McKyrie's got the politicians along to hear his message because he believes they and the media can be a catalyst for change.
Can anybody explain to one of those whose child was killed on the road by somebody who just had 7 stubbies in the last 2 hours and legally can drive on the opposite side of the road to this child, that this is okay?
For Labour's Leanne Dalzell, the answer is clear.
Why won't the politicians change the laws like the blood alcohol content from 0.8 to 0.5, or establish a minimum price for alcohol, or deal to the advertising that we see pervading our screens and restrict alcohol's availability? It's because we, the politicians, lack courage.
Why don't you think the government is acting? They could do that really easily. Why aren't they doing that?
I am sharing the question with you. I think this is a very legitimate and very polite question.
We wanted to put that question to Simon Power, the minister responsible for the liquor legislation. We wanted to ask him why he wasn't prepared to implement all of the Law Commission recommendations on the sale of alcohol. We were told that Simon Power is too busy to talk on camera this week.
I waited several months to meet Simon Power, almost 6 to 8 months, and I didn't have the pleasure of meeting him. I want you to go out of this meeting thinking that I'm not talking nonsense. This doesn't...
Albert McKyrie wants the politicians to own the problem, to show real leadership by stigmatizing drunkenness.
You discredit this ideology by stigmatizing.
And how do you stigmatize binge drinking? Well, says Albert, you start with a role model, a captain.
I want somebody loved, famous, with charisma to captain the management of this huge problem Otherwise, it will be too late.
His first choice was John Key.
And I admired the Prime Minister because he has a lot of charisma and he is affable with the population. And I wanted him to captain this.
But Albert Mackay admits he's learnt a lot about politicians.
They don't have evergreen jobs and they are at all time worried about polls. And this is a limiting factor.
The call for the corner! Now, Albert has our sporting heroes in his sights.
Well, I'm trying to put Richie McCaw in the corner here. And if Richie McCaw goes on television and say, if you drink to get drunk, you are a bloody idiot, I think you will see the start of a cultural revolution.
But they're just rugby players. How could they stop $250,000 a day being spent on booze advertising?
Yes, but each child in New Zealand knows who Richie McCaw is. If people say this is nonsense, that's fine. I tried my best, I go fishing. If people say, no, this makes sense, we want that, then, and with the support of the likes of you and the media and the politicians, which I saw yesterday, I have no option but to keep saying, this is a good idea.
A good idea that Albert Mackay is hoping will start a revolution.
A cultural revolution. And what's encouraging me is the public response. I'm just trying to be useful.
So Leanne Dalzell says politicians don't have the courage to control binge drinking. Well, Justice Minister Simon Power reckons the government's reforms strike the right balance between dealing with the harm alcohol causes while not unfairly affecting responsible drinkers. The minister says he doesn't have enough information to set up a workable minimum price scheme. But he says the reforms will restrict availability and strengthen the controls on alcohol advertising.